Hey, everybody, and welcome to Monday night. Actually, Thursday
Hey,
night, isn't it? I'm turned around
Thursday
because of the
night.
holidays. Thursday night. Coffee with Cowlazars K Pro and Decall. Thanks for coming on, Decall.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
Love it. Yeah.
everybody, we're going to be talking about the Jingle Bell Rock and how it was found. And I hear there was some controversy on when it was found and how it was found. And Decall can fill us in on all that info. And then at the end of the hour, we'll talk about the World Series of Fenn Poker Tournament. We'll talk about T-shirts. And what else are we talking about, Christy? Anything else?
Maps.
Yeah, oh, maps. I mean, you can't forget maps. So we'll definitely talk about maps.
You try, but you
Yeah, yeah.
can't get away from them.
So I just had Panda Express, so I'm slowly going to take a nap while Decal's talking. And but I've been off all week, off of work for the holidays, so I'm kind of turned around. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. I know everybody's probably out Christmas shopping and doing what they got to do because Christmas is 5 days away, so it's coming up quick. So, okay, Decal, you want to jump right into it? Jingle Bell Rock. I know we did our show last Thursday, and it was found like hours later, Friday morning, right? And I know
Yeah.
you were involved. So, yeah, fill everybody in who may not know.
All right. So let me back up a day. So Wednesday night was the third pitcher clue, and I should back up a little more. The Jingle Bell Rock contest. It's really popular in Las Vegas. It's $10,000. All you have to do is find a rock, a big kind of paving stone that you'd put in your garden. It's a sandstone with, and one side is painted bright red with the radio logo and colors. And it's impossible to miss. In fact, most places around the valley, it would stick out like a sore thumb in a way. I mean, they do put it face down, so it does look like a natural stone or some garbage. Like truthfully, it does look like what people dump out there, their landscape rock or whatever.
Right.
And so for $10,000, a lot of people are out. I've estimated that it's certainly in the thousands. The highest I've had on my website is up to 8,000 unique visitors. Okay. So I'm certain there's at least 5 to 10,000 different people playing this game. And like we were talking earlier, so basically it's the clue writer versus 10,000 people.
Right.
So it sort of turns into a madhouse in a way.
Well, Decal, why don't you go over the clues part? Because that changed up a couple years ago, and some people might not understand that they give clues and then they tell everybody we're putting it out tonight. So go through that part.
Yeah,
that becomes important later.
Yeah, years ago, they would just give one clue a day and repeat it during the day, just one clue. And then later, it was kind of losing attention. So they started giving 2 or 3 clues a day. And then the sponsor wants in on it. So they started doing a bonus clue at the sponsor, And so the sponsor this year, sometimes they're casinos and sometimes they're sometimes jewelry stores, but for the most part, it's been casinos. And this year's Silverton Casino. And so they have these bonus clues. And then in the last 4 years or maybe 5 years, they've done some pitcher clues to kind of they have bigger events at the casino. So they'll have like 5 events at the casino to get everybody. And so Wednesday night, we had this great another pitcher clue event. And we also did like a gift exchange, which was fun. It's like the cheering squad, the diehards. They're showing up more and more every year. And
how many showed up to that on Wednesday?
Oh, it was like at least 50 people, but more people were sticking around. In years past, they'll just line up, grab the pitcher clue, and head home. And a few people did that. They ran out of pitcher clues this time.
Cool.
So this year, which is kind of different, they take a picture off the internet as some generic picture and make that the pitcher clue. Now, I thought that was smart, keep it very generic and let people's imagination go wild. Well, this year was kind of different, and we suspected right away that the picture not only wasn't off the internet, but it must be a picture of the location where the rock would be placed. Now, in years past, if they found the rock too fast, like in 5 days or 4 days or even 3 days, that's horrible for the sponsorship and everybody else. Now, the guy that finds it, he's thrilled, and but that's just it. It's a very competitive game, you know. So that many people, they could possibly find it on one clue or just dumb luck. So this year, them showing actual pictures of where the all three picture clues that we got were of the location where the rock would be placed. And in the third clue that we got that Wednesday night, I forget how many days ago that was already, but it was on Wednesday night, and that was December 8th, and it had like a little, like a very short little post in the background, and can you imagine? You show a picture of a little 4x4 signpost or fence post, and the guy I'm sure he was thinking, nobody's going to find this little bit. It was barely in the picture. You guys can go to jinglebellrock.info, and look at the picture clues and all the regular clues, and see links to the videos and everything. Okay, so that was Wednesday night. So this guy, Whiskey Rocks, it ended up finding the Jingle Bell Rock. He got the picture clue, and all he was thinking, he had already reduced the problem down to northwest side of Las Vegas. So in Las Vegas, we have basically 4 roads in and out of town: northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. That's the 4 ways in and out of town. So you basically pick one, and you know basically which way you're going. Well, if you saw our last show on Cowlazars, we were showing you little gold stars where the clues were blocking out, basically not clues, where not to look, and we blocked out basically southwest or southeast first, southwest second, and we were kind of left hanging whether we were going north. We were going to start blocking out northeast or northwest. Well, we didn't have time for that because Wednesday night, Whiskey took off with the picture clue, and he said to himself, all I have to do is find this post in northwest Las Vegas. Now, if you know Las Vegas at all, it can't really be in town because somebody would find it too easily. So, but the number of things that are northwest and out of town are slim. There's very few locations, especially with the military operations out there, and there's prison areas, and there's everything but places for people to go. But the one of the few ones out there was Mount Charleston turnoff, Corn Creek, and then Lee Canyon turnoff, and then maybe Indian Springs is the only community before the county line. So Whiskey and me and my partner, we had reduced the problem down to the same thing, which is find a post in the northwest, which is not really that complicated of a problem. Sure, there's hundreds, if not thousands of posts out there, but you just have to find one.
Well, and the picture, it wasn't just a post. There was actually a crack in the one side, as I recall. So it also is a little helpful. Yeah, and so there was some supporting evidence that you could at least look at each one and go, nope, no, it wasn't just
yes.
But it wasn't just the post they showed. They showed the big pink rock, which I'm assuming was within the vicinity, right? The other picture they showed.
And the shrubs. And the
shrub.
Now,
believe it or not, me and my partner had speculated that, okay, the first clue to come out is actually where the rock was sitting.
Right.
And that was true. That was in fact true. The rock was sitting right on that bush. So, and then the second picture clue was the pink rocks. And so 10 feet away from that first clue was the pink rocks, which we found out there. And then, and also 10 feet from the pink rocks was the post. So I was expecting a little more distance from item to item. And we had correctly speculated that they're going to zoom out for fourth and fifth picture clues, so it's unmistakable where this post was.
Mm-hmm.
So Thursday night, while I'm in the show with you guys, he texts me and he's saying, "Call me." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm on YouTube Live right now." And he's like, "Well, if you want to see where they're going to drop the rock, call me when you're done."
And you said that during the live show. You said, "I know somebody who thinks they know where the location is." You think they found it already.
The post.
Yeah.
And okay, what's funny though is I had at least 3 or 4 or more people texting me, telling me that they had the post. And Whiskey's a great guy, but some years he gets on a tangent just like I get on a tangent, and it's kind of comparable to the Fenn treasure. Some people are way out there and some people might just be right. You don't know.
Right. You don't know.
And so Whiskey Rocks is his avatar name. In years past, he's a great guy, but he drives me nuts some years, and so does everybody else. They're like, they could be right on it, or they could be on the complete opposite side of town, and they all drive me nuts, calling me or texting me, with their ideas. And Whiskey Rocks is a very persuasive guy. I mean, very.
I was gonna say he convinced you were in the car with him the next day. What did he say? What was it?
It was simply the picture. I mean. He sent me a photo of the post, his own photo of the post,
right?
And it wasn't just the post that matched exactly the wood grain, the marks, the crack, the wood. The hole in the wood, the bush, but every little pebble matched also. Yeah. I mean, those are unique, so extremely unique that it would be impossible to even stage that or pretend. I mean, all of those combined made it a perfect match. Now, seeing this post in real life was the most raggedy ass post you've ever seen in your life. I thought it was a new sort of high pressure wood, like those green posts you see in the Forest Service or something that are pressure treated wood, so they last a long time. So I can't imagine how he slowed down, took a look at that post. But he's very methodical, and he nailed it. He found it. He took pictures, and then he sent it to me, and he's like, "Dude, come out here." And so I said, "All right, I'll be out there. As soon as I could be there is like 10 p.m. And that was right after our YouTube show. Hard to believe. And turns out he had been driving he didn't go to bed yet from after picking up the picture clue. So he worked all day, whatever he does during the day, and then after getting the picture clue, he was out there all night Wednesday night and all morning Thursday morning, and he finally found the post at like 4 p.m. when he took pictures of it. He wasn't sure because he had left the picture clue at home after he took a shower or whatever, and so. But after I confirmed, I'm like, "Dude, that is really it. That's absolutely it." And so I headed out there.
What time is this?
That was 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay, so 10 p.m. You and Whiskey are like hanging out at the spot.
Right? And I'll just say this. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he cheated. All he did was he took the clues that were presented and he figured out the location." True, it was before they hid the rock.
Said that. So
yeah, there's no rules, but he even recently on Facebook he published all of his solutions to every clue. So people can argue, and they could say he came up with that after the fact, but really we have the photo and video evidence of us waiting out there, and I even showed people my GPS timeline.
So you guys go out there, you see the post, you're like, "This is it," and then what? You decide we're just going to wait for the guy to show up to hide it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect. It was cold. Oh my gosh, it was cold. I had my my Carhartts on and a beanie on and a hoodie on, and it was cold out there. And we waited and waited. It was 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We walked around out there to make sure the rock wasn't there, and we waited some more. Finally, at like 2:45 in the morning, we're thinking, well, if he was going to come at midnight or 1, he would have done it already.
Right.
And if he's not going to come at 2 a.m., then he's probably going to show up at 4:30 before the construction guys get out there. There's some construction going on right, 200 yards away. And so they had to be there before the sun came up and before the construction guys got there. So at 2:45, we made a decision. I got to go back to my truck and get that truck home to my wife so she can use it in the morning. And so we make this decision. We're driving out of there, and finally the guy shows up. So he comes zooming in, and some miracle he didn't see us, because we pulled out on one dirt road and got back on the highway, and he came in on the frontage road, and he was zooming. I mean, he was coming fast, but I really don't think maybe he thought we were just.
But your lights were on. I mean, he definitely saw the vehicle sitting there.
Yeah, I believe the lights were on and everything, and he could have noticed us, but we probably blended in with the oncoming traffic on the highway.
Yeah, that's true. So you see him stop at the location, and you're like, well, he's hiding the rock. Now what?
Well, we had to keep moving on 95 like nothing was going on, because all of a sudden, all of our plans were screwed, because we were just going to wait in the dark. He would never have seen us because we were far. We were walking towards his truck while we were waiting. We couldn't find his truck. His truck is really hard to see out there in the dark. It was perfect. But,
okay, so to go back for just a second, because you told me this story once before. So there's a video of you guys just sitting, hanging out. I think it was at
side of the road.
Yeah. So the very first part of the video was us at 11 o'clock at night, testing out our camera, seeing everything. And then the next video, the next section of video is us after we had already pulled out and he had already drove in. And it gets entertaining at that point, because we pull over on the frontage road, and we see him at the end of the road, and we're watching with night vision goggles or with night vision binoculars. Right. And Whiskey is calling out every move. And we really weren't sure we don't know what he's driving. We don't know what
You don't even know if it's him. Did you know the person that hides it? You don't even know it's him, right?
Other rock hunters. We didn't know.
Well, so Decall, I'm just going to throw out, somebody said, great, so there's two middle-aged men in a truck on the side of the road. This could be a different story with different context. So, okay, just throwing that out.
But did you guys wait for him to leave, or did you drive in there while he was still there?
Well, we definitely waited for him to leave, and the video gets kind of intense during that, because we're videoed for the first time in history. No one's ever videotaped the radio guy dropping the rock.
Right.
Or even videotaped somebody picking up the rock. So we we're waiting there, and then so I'm like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, are you gonna give him the bird when he flies by? What are you gonna do? That was my favorite line of the whole thing. But
I would have hit the horn and waved at him like, hey, bye.
Okay, so now you think the guy's gone, and you guys go treasure hunting, right? You guys
we go get it.
And you're videoing this.
We waited. Awesome. His taillights were gone. Everything was gone. It was back to pitch black. I mean, it was just the construction lights out there. And then so we'd say, okay, that's it. If it's the rock, then we're going to go right over there to it. We know that's the post. There's no question we're there. Mm-hmm. So we just drove over there. There was nobody around, of course. And we get in there, and it took us about, you can see on the video, we got continuous footage. And we just pull over to the sign and that post and just started wandering around. It only took like less than 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that great moment you see in the video where I'm like, we got it.
Decall found it. That the Whiskey didn't find Decall's there with the flashlight and his video, and he's like, dude,
it's unmistakable. Right. Yeah, you didn't even have to flip it over. You're like, it's right here. Come get it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. We've seen it. I mean, it's kind of like a dream come true. I mean, in a weird way. I've had so many, fantasy years where I'm thinking, man, I wonder what it looks like out here. and it is kind of different in real life. So yeah, of course, I found it, but it was all Whiskey rocks. He was 100%. To find that post, it was impossible to find the rock without that.
So you get the rock, you get in the truck, and you go home, right? That's it.
No. There's
more.
The best part of this part of the story is Whiskey comes over and he looks at the rock, And then he looks at Decall and he's like, I need a hug first, man. And he goes over and he's like this big mountain guy and he gives him a big old hug. And then he walks over and he's like, okay. And then it was like a Kodak moment.
I know.
But
yeah,
that
he
was the best part.
He wasn't panicked at all. He was all relaxed. And then I was like, come on, Winner, pick it up, Winner. It was cool. It was really cool.
So now, like Mike said, you just go home and there wasn't like.
Yeah, we threw it in the truck and I was all relaxed. I was like totally relaxed and you're kind of not even paying attention because it's a sure thing, right? We just put that rock in the back of his Jeep and we're about to get in the Jeep and these headlights come blazing up on us. And they were like aggressive. It wasn't just like a casual person wandering through. No, they blazed up kind of fast. I only saw like the last 10 seconds of them approaching. Neither one of us saw them coming at all.
So you're not even back in the truck yet, or did you guys get the rock and get back?
No, we weren't. I was just standing there, and then I see these headlights, and they're basically blocking us in. I was like, "What the hell?" I mean, don't they understand that that's rude? You know?
Yeah.
But Whiskey. I mean, I don't know if you know this. He's an ex-police officer, and he has been through. Oh my gosh! If you look up some of the stories, he was in a shootout 19 years ago. He took eight bullets. He was shot 8 times, but he protected everybody in the bar. He saved the life of at least 20 or 30 possible people, you know, and he had to kill 3 of the armed gunmen in that bar, Mr. D's bar episode. And he said he's been in many other shootouts. So I kind of understand his perspective is a little more paranoid. Mm-hmm. He said, he was telling me he had 3 guns on him already.
Jeez.
Well, that's such a good part of the story, but tell the part where you guys got like blocked in.
So they block in, and what happens?
He had no choice but to pull that gun. But
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. His instincts was to have that gun out because we didn't know who it was or what's going on. And he had told me that there had been several carjackings recently. So that's what he was thinking, carjacking at 3 a.m., you know, because it couldn't be the radio guy because we saw him leave. Well, so he's like, who is it? What are you doing? What is your name?
Is that right?
So he's like, Larry Martino, radio, KKLZ. And I wasn't going to say his name, so sorry, Larry. But
now, is this an on-air personality, or is this just a guy that? He is. Okay.
And so he had came back, and he evidently was mad because we had ruined the game.
Probably, yeah, it's over, yeah.
And to put it in perspective, he's more paranoid about his job. Like, so his job is to place the rock and do it without being seen.
Right.
Well, in his mind, he had been detected, and he couldn't do his job, and therefore the whole thing was messed up. So he was started right away after he kind of felt not threatened by us, and so he was saying,
"You had the gun." I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah, it was spectacular. I mean, there's no doubt about his authority with that gun. It's like
at any time did he want to take the rock back?
Well, it took me a minute to even get my bearings, but he was already drawn on him and everything. And then once it's a radio host, it's like, oh well, he's friend. He ought to be real happy for us, right? And so he starts yelling, "Oh, you guys! The whole game is null and void. You messed everything up. You cheaters! You cheated."
Now, when I hear null and void, that's an issue.
Oh my gosh! And we were like, "Who, us? We don't cheat. Like, okay, I don't cheat at anything. All right, I do not cheat." And same with Whiskey. He's like, "No, we don't cheat. Are you kidding?" So he was nervous. I was nervous. I was like, we were talking to the guy. Come on, man, this is real. We figured out the post. And once we said the post, he's like, there ain't no way in hell you figured out where that post is. There ain't no way in hell you figured out the post.
Right.
I'm calling the boss. And so he calls the boss.
Then at 3:30 in the morning or whatever time.
In the middle of nowhere.
That's funny.
Speakerphone.
Is the gun like put away at this point?
Yeah, I was put away right. Once he knew it was the radio guy, he put the gun away. And it was starting to get intense. I'm like, man, are we going to have legal issues?
Yeah, right.
It's going to be like a whole mess. Like, did we legitimately find this? do we legitimately figure this out? So finally, and the boss the whole time he was saying, "Oh, it's fine. These guys found it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys did a good job. You did it." And he was like, "No, I mean, we wanted it to last longer, but they found it fair and square." And I mean, me and Whiskey, we told him, sure, we wanted to go longer too. It's not our fault that we figured it out,
Well, there was a couple people on the Facebook page that said, I had exactly that spot. I just wasn't going until 5 or 7 or 8 right after, So there were a lot of people going to that spot.
You know what you should have done? You should have called me and K-Pro, and we could have re-hit it and let somebody else try and find it. As long as you guys turned it in the radio station by Friday, noon, whatever the cutoff was, we could have kept a different treasure hunt going for 7 days. And we could have gave up a different prize, So
a few of the things that I heard, I actually have a few questions from the chat room. Do you want to, is that the
I was what the radio guys don't really understand is that we search that spot amongst many other spots every year.
Okay.
I mean, they're all stereotypical. Okay, you go to the end of the last road,
and that's the problem with this hunt.
Okay, and so these radio guys, they don't really understand that we have all these places memorized, and we have all the streets memorized in these outskirt places. So it needs to be. And that's one of the reasons why we publish all the old years. We published it on my webpage. So every year in the past, you can see where it was hidden, and we try and avoid those places. But that could be a tell also. That could be saying, okay, you don't even have to look at those places again. So, but these guys, hopefully, I really hope KKLZ doesn't get mad about this year. I want them to think positive. This is like a business problem that you have to resolve, because we want this thing to grow bigger and bigger every year and to enjoy it and have fun. And sure, this is an obstacle. Some of these things are an obstacle. People showing up in the middle of the night when it's placed, that's horrible.
Well, one of the things I heard is, when did they actually announce it had been found? I heard it was really later on Friday, and so a lot of people had taken off work and they were looking for it. But why didn't they announce like at 6 a.m.? Hey, it's been found. Like, when did they actually announce that it was discovered?
Well, they were stubborn to announce it because some of the radio hosts, if they don't know the answer, they have to keep playing the game. They can't say anything or act any different.
The other thing is, until somebody actually gives the rock to the radio station, it's not technically found. You can't say somebody found it, and until they have the rock, until it's turned in.
Because we've had it go on for days when it has been found, and people do get very upset at the people because they didn't turn it in for days.
Doesn't turn it in,
And there's been other occasions when we go to fully sponsored events and it's already been found.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
But this was I thought it was a great year.
Well, so let me ask you a couple of questions from the chat room. How did you get to know Whiskey? Was he a friend of yours? Did you know him just from Jingle Bell Rock, or how did you know Whiskey?
Yeah, from Jingle Bell Rock. There's a tight-knit group of about 50 people that we all chat. Kind of like the Fenn Treasure has, its top or its common 100 people. You wouldn't really say they're the top 100. They're just the most active 100 in Fenn Treasure. Well, there's like the top 50 in Jingle Bell Rock, and Whiskey has always texted. I mean, we all start texting each other every year about November or something, and start asking and pursuing ideas. And
another question is, what kind of gun was it? Was it a 22 or was it a 9
he told me it was a big gun.
380. AK
bigger.
Just kidding.
I think it was a 45. He said.
Okay.
He told me about. He said for some reason it was the easiest to grab on his way out, to go back out looking, and so he grabbed that one, and it was a big gun. Yeah, huge.
Okay. And so, what changes would you recommend? Like some people are saying the treasure looks like they need a consultant of a treasure hunter, advice from treasure hunters. What recommendations would you make? They're considering not doing it next year, is what one of the hosts said.
I hope they take our advice to hide it farther.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hide it farther from a road and farther out of town.
Right. It's got to be
And-
hard to find. Don't make it so easy. Yeah.
And even disguise it better.
I think
would
they need a
expect-
different rock, in my opinion. They've had the same one for what, 20 years? Paint.
It could be.
Come up
It
with
could
a
be a
different
little
rock.
smaller. It could be a little
Yeah,
smaller.
paint a
That
new
might
one.
help.
Right.
And hide it in the bush, like almost like 99% concealed. That would help. Okay,
Well,
but
I think harder clues though, but I like the idea of go and hide it and then don't give out great clues the first few days if your sponsors are upset they only get a few
right.
days. No,
Well,
they
they-
don't give out enough for the first week and then do
They
like
didn't
the
give
second.
out great clues. All they did was say where it wasn't. But the mistake they made is they showed a picture of the location. Now, they
Well,
didn't
the
think
clues-
that anybody would
The
find
clues
it.
were
but
there.
They were
and the
wrong.
clues were there. Like me and my partner, we knew that Kellogg
Mhm.
meant Corn Creek.
Okay.
I mean, like I was saying, there's only Kyle Canyon, Corn Creek, and Lee Canyon. And when they say Kellogg, meaning and Kellogg is a soccer field park.
Mhm.
So it was one of the stars that we put on the map was Kellogg soccer field. But me and my partner knew that it absolutely 100% meant Corn Creek. So
Right.
Wednesday night, midnight, I'm out there with my wife and kids. It was fun. We're
Yeah.
at Corn Creek, but the problem was none of the posts matched. Everywhere we looked
Oh,
Well, so
out.
okay.
it sounds like that you're right, Mike. It sounds like the post was an issue and then saying exactly when. I would just say I would recommend
Yes.
to the
Yeah,
radio
they have to.
station.
Yeah.
It's going to be hidden somewhere,
In this week, in this
This
time
week.
period, and
And
we'll
maybe-
tell you one of the clues should be okay. The rock is now hiding and ready.
In its
So
spot.
so there's no
Don't
time
say when
attached.
you win. Yeah. They made
And
two
so-
mistakes. They showed the location and they said the day it was going to be hid. You don't do those
Yeah.
two things.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You shouldn't.
Right.
Never show a picture of the location because a good botanist or geologist, and I'm a welder, but I figured out what part of town those rocks were in because, and it's simple logic. There's no red sandstone. There's no red colored dirt.
Mhm.
So red colored dirt or red sandstone would be three sides of the valley, okay? And there's no volcanic rock, okay? So that's the other side of the valley. So you can immediately deduce that this is the northwest part of town based on the rocks, okay? Very simple logic, and they underestimate the game and the searchers and our knowledge of this game and this and I feel bad because it really is 8,000 to 1,
Right.
8,000 people versus one guy. And I think he's doing a good job. So the surprise.
Uh-oh, we got a
The
surprise.
surprise.
Is that the gun?
No, this is
Oh.
the gun. Whiskey bought me this gun. How do you like that? Isn't that nice of him?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is a $900 to $1,000 gun. It's a Sig Sauer P227 45 caliber. And he
Nice.
very generously bought me this gun because I went with him.
Oh, cool.
Have you taken that? That's going to have some kick to it. Have you?
Oh,
have you
yeah.
shot
Been
it yet?
shooting with it yet?
Yeah. Yep. Got the hammer back.
Hey, get safety
I
on.
pay attention to put
Unload
the
it.
ammo in there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But now please, people, don't get all gun sensitive on us. This is Whiskey's personality. Okay, he's an ex-police officer. He
Right.
saved many lives with guns. He loves guns, and that was a really nice and genuine way for him to show his appreciation of me going out with him, keeping him awake, and trust me, we had a great time. Everything fell into place. What a great night, and what a great guy Whiskey is. He is my kind of hero, my kind of guy, and
Well, congrats. Did he get the money yet? Probably not yet, right? It gets a check next week or something?
the
January?
radios. I get kind of peeved at the radio station because they always talk about 10,000 cash, 10,000
Right.
cash. Well, the reality is it's more like an invoice and
All right.
and accounts receivable closer to 2 to 4 weeks,
Right,
before
right,
that
right.
money actually hits the table. But it's a great game, real fun game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they do it. I hope they keep doing it. I just hope they learn from last year when it was found or 2 years ago when they put it in the same location. You remember that? Please be kind and rewind. I hope they
Yeah.
learn from that one, and I hope they learn from this one that you don't give a picture and you don't, and who says the clues have to make sense in the beginning. just eliminate it, but make that a random pattern. It almost seems like it went around the valley, and there it was. If you just kept going, they need to mix it up and make it harder.
Trust me, you had no idea if it was northeast or northwest,
right?
But that Kellogg clue, I mean, for me and my partner, made it 100% sure,
right?
Northwest. But I hope that, I mean, the radio guys should not be hard on themselves. This is a very difficult game on their side of it to keep. And I think that they should do some Simon Says type clues where they give us a little and take it back. Okay. That would be pretty exciting, where you don't have to give us the whole truth. You can take it back. You can put in some red herrings.
Right.
The beautiful thing about this game is it must end on the 21st of December. So they can give us all the red herrings they want. Okay. Don't feel bad for us. Don't feel bad if it's far. Don't feel bad if it's hard, because by the 21st, all things will be settled. Now, then the only challenge left is not for it to be, what do you call that? A goose chase or whatever, where everybody just immediately knows where it's at and the first one there wins. We don't want that. But
yeah.
Well, and I personally, just in case the radio station's watching, I hate red herrings. So I would rather not give enough information where you actually do need some additional information before you can solve it. But red herrings where it sends you to the wrong place purposely, no, bad. Don't do it.
Well, it could be double meanings, though.
Probably double meanings.
Yeah, double meanings. They make you think one thing, and it's really this over here.
I mean, you saw the clues when we went over them last Thursday. They were all obvious clues. They were very obvious what the answers were, but there were plenty of hidden double meanings.
Yeah. But you said something that I thought was interesting, and it came out to be exactly the case. I was throwing out like super complicated, complex this and that, and if it's in this, and you're like, oh no, how they did it, this is where they rule them out, and then you just kind of keep going because it was like last year. It seems like it's the same person doing it every year, and it would be better if it was like a code and cipher one year, the next year it is ruling out areas, the next year it seems like every year it's the same technique. So someone that was an outsider, I was like, no, it could be this, and you guys were like, well, no, 2 years ago that happened, and so we know how this guy thinks, and so it sounds like they just need to like mix it up in a different way.
I agree. They get nervous, and they worry about people jumping in water, and they get worried about people digging or destroying property. They've got a lot of issues to think about from their side of the perspective. I feel bad for them. I like the discount clues where you're like, this is not it. This is not it. I like that. They don't need to be so deliberate, though. They can jump around the whole valley and keep everybody really guessing and force them to really map it out and see what's still available, as searching territory. They don't need to be, I mean, they gotta think extreme difficulty. They gotta make it very difficult.
Faith Hunter says something interesting. Our local radio station does a similar hunt, and they bring in someone who does not live in the area to write the clues in either.
That's a pretty good idea.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, because they wouldn't have the same assumptions. And the clues would be legit, but they might mean something different than if a local.
Right. If the radio station watches this, I volunteer for next year. I'll sign the non-disclosure. Nobody will even know I'm involved, but I'll come up with your clues.
I'm from out of the area, and
there you go. There you go. Right. Well, I think there is a problem, though. I mean, if somebody was out of the area, they might say something that's such a huge trigger that this guy that does write the clues, he knows this valley so well that, and he's trusted. The other good thing about this guy is he's extremely well trusted. I believe it's the same guy year after year, but we like the guy. We like his style. And I have seen some trends and some similarities, but he's not ultra consistent. So he does keep you guessing. I would like to see some more challenging ciphers or difficulty level. But 8,000 people, they're going to figure out anything. It doesn't even matter what they present. They're going to figure it out.
Well, I disagree. If they don't give enough information, that was like on, I don't know. There's been a couple of hunts out there where they literally give incomplete information.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it was Jenny's one of her hunts. I did 3 of her hunts, And Beth solved it within like, I don't know if everybody knows it's Beth. The person solved it within like an hour. The second one within 2 hours. And I'm like, I don't even need to look at the third one because I had to work today. Is it solved? And then it was out there for like a month because she gave incomplete information and then gave additional clues. That's what they need to do is
they'll find some way to throttle it, keep the RPMs down,
Yeah. Well, and the rock was, I mean, they could also do like, they could do a coin.
Coin, that's a good idea. KKLZ Jingle Bell coin.
Remember Custard Quest? He took just a regular rock and engraved the bottom with a sequence number and just hit it. There was one hidden at the entrance to the Luxor. This is years ago. So that is a great idea. I mean, I like the idea.
Yeah, increase the difficulty in several different categories.
Right.
And it's fine. The sponsors will be happy. I mean, all the sponsors, they just want attention. And we're trying to give it to them. I mean, I'm planning and helping promote events. I told the boss, and this other radio guy, I'm like, all I care about is sincerely promoting this game because I like it and it's fun. I personally like toying with the business model, building a community.
Right.
I sent out 4,000 text messages. Think of the power of that. I sent out 3,000 emails. I'm fascinated just by the community building. So, and even so the radio station can kind of trust my involvement. It's a business sort of idea, but I don't have any odd motivations. It's just a very simple, I mean, I don't spam anybody.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby. It's not a full-time
And
job.
here's the other thing. What do you guys think of this idea? So instead of one rock for $10,000, what if there's 5 rocks and it's $2,000 each? Yeah. And the radio station comes on Monday and says the first rock's been found, but there's still 4 more out there. Yeah. And the clues they give out, they're all mixed up. You don't know which clues they're giving to you for which location. I mean, there's different ways you can do it.
3 areas that you could have gone to. Maybe there's a rock in different areas.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 rocks, 5,000 each is $25,000. That would be huge. It doesn't end that way. It keeps going after one's found.
They're not lazy, but okay, they've got enough headaches, and they see this as a headache. Okay, they want it to be important. They want it to be great for the sponsors, but it's almost like they dread it, and and
you know what they could do, Mike? So somebody might have said this. So the 5 rocks you bring, and the one, and you put your name in, you put those 5 in, and then they draw one out. Whichever one draws gets $25,000.
Oh, I got you. Or those 5 people are in a grand adventure, a grand thing where they have to find the last rock, but there's only those 5 people or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it, but that way it's not over as soon as the first rock's found. So. Well,
and wouldn't that be cool if they had like an event, like a Survivor event? Because then the rest of the hardcore crews, Decall and all of his buddies, would be there like rooting them on to watch like the person do the clues and all of that. That could be fun.
A lot of ideas,
Yeah. So, okay, very cool. So, okay. So many of these are being canceled due to legal liability.
I wonder what the legal liability is. I don't know how that part works, but
I wonder if like wrongful death, if someone does die or get injured, and maybe they would have to sign a disclaimer, because nobody signed a disclaimer like on the Fenn hunt. I don't think anybody has sued Forrest. So I wonder if that's what they're talking about.
I don't understand legal liability. If I go hide something anywhere, go find it. If you find it, you keep it. What's my liability? I don't know what liability I have on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
a lot of people said, why don't they ask Forrest? What if Forrest put out like an extra hint of what WWWH is on that rock? Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, geez, that's crazy.
Let's make it big. There'd be
4 rocks for the 4 states, and one of them has a WWH on it. Yeah, right.
That could be awesome. Yeah.
And it'd probably be a bronze jar or something.
Yeah, there you go.
With the right warm water salt in it.
There's some good ideas. We just need to sit down and talk it out.
Yeah. So okay, we're gonna wrap up this part of the show. What questions do you have for Decall? Because that's a cool story, Decall. You actually found it, so you are now.
You were technically the person to see it first. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a half truth, but
I mean, you got the location.
I watched the video.
Else.
You said
I found it. Yep,
found it.
Right.
That's what I told my wife when I came home. I'm like, honey, I found the Jingle Bell Rock. I told my kids that too. I found and they're like, what? Like, oh, there's a small little catch.
Well, would have been.
Go ahead, Mike.
What would have been funny is you were videotaping, right? Or you were
Yeah.
recording. So you should have picked up the rock and just started running down the black highway. You just see the
Get
camera
shot.
fly. Yeah,
Have
yeah.
some footage of me getting
That'd
shot
be
in the
pretty
back.
funny.
That'd
Yeah, I
be-
was gonna say he knew he had guns, Mike, and he's in the middle of nowhere. I don't think that's
Well, I do take pride in people trusting me and being, I mean, that's very important to me. My character, my moral.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. It's just a joke. But I mean to do it as you're kicking dirt over it. Yeah, I don't see it over here. As you bury it.
It's a
let's
shame
leave
it's
now.
not here.
You're right. I thought you were right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Decall, you could tell your wife now, since you found one, you just need one more boots on the ground for the Forrest one. So you've like,
There
this
you
shows
go.
like you should be going boots on the ground next
My
time.
wife is a strange but beautiful bird. She does not get this game. She doesn't get Forrest Fenn.
Right.
That doesn't make her strange, Decall.
I know, but she's mad as hell about the gun. She
Okay.
thinks he should have gave me money. I don't know.
Yeah.
These women, it's like,
Decall.
You could sell the
Women.
gun and make some money that way, I guess.
I
don't
adore
know.
my wife. I just but to make sense out of it, no, I can't make sense out of
I was
this.
gonna say, Decall, I don't have a 45, so maybe we can talk later.
Yeah.
It's my biggest one I have.
Whiskey would kill me if I sold this beautiful gun.
Yeah, okay,
It's actually a dream come true to have this gun. I've always wanted a Sig Sauer. It's fantastic.
So, Decal, somebody asked, did you think it was too easy last year when it was found out by Good Springs? I had no clue it was all the way out
Well,
there.
several people said I'm going to Good Springs. I said you're crazy.
Right.
But there was plenty of, like the 3 pitcher clues last year were in a straight line pointing directly to Good Springs. So Good Springs and the 3 clues made a 4-point line, which is almost impossible to be luck, 4 points on a map, all being a straight line. That's amazing. There was plenty to say Good Springs in such a short amount of time. They figured it out. I didn't have the mojo that year. That's for sure.
Copper Dan says he'll buy the gun from you. You're already getting offers.
You heard who? No, and let's not start a bidding war. It's
No,
Copper Dan.
no.
Copper Dan will
He's going to pay you in coins, is what it's going to be.
I'll trade you this.
Right. Barter
Okay,
system.
so that is a good segue. Let's talk a few things all other things. This is the end of our content portion, and we're going to move on to fun things. So if you don't like those things, go and be non-fun with someone
But
else.
I will say this real quick. So good luck. I mean, for everybody that participated in the Jingle Bell Rock contest. Unfortunately, it's over this year. But there will be a puzzle of sorts on this YouTube channel because there's some coins that we're going to hide, and there will be some clues on where those coins are. So if you guys subscribe, that'll happen in the spring and the summertime. But at least it'll be another puzzle that you could work on, in the meantime, in the summer. So details will be on that down the road.
So the copper coins, there's 1,000 of them out there. The silver coins, there's only 50. So and some of them have gone for thousands on eBay. So we're going to start with the higher ones are the ones I've given out so far, the ones in the 30s and 40s. But little by little, it's going to become 30s, 20s, 10, and all the way down to 4. So 1, 2, and 3 have been already taken. So
wow, Copper Dan said silver coin number 3 for the gun. Wow, that's huge. He really wants that gun for some reason.
I was going to say silver coin. Oh, he has. I was going.
Yeah, he bought it off of eBay. Remember?
Yeah, I thought he meant silver coin too. I was going to say, how do you?
No,
silver.
What did he pay for the silver coin?
I guess that's public. Yeah, over $1,000 for that coin.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's something. So. Huh.
Okay.
All
right. He's outbid me. So
yeah, right.
Good. Okay, so let's talk a few other things that are happening. So World Series of Fenn, let's start with that.
Wow, yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's gonna be fun.
So the cool part is we talked about everyone needing to RSVP and why, and they wanted to get something free. So now we've gone from 16 to 26. And I'm not going to disclose all who will be there, but I will disclose there's a lot of people that maybe had been to the Jamie drawing. There's a lot of people that said, hey, I met you at the Jamie drawing. Let's all get back together again. Right now we're at 26, so we're getting at least 3 tables. We're now at the point that if we get another 4 or 5, we will need another table.
Right.
So please email me at kpro3@aol.com. only the people on the list that have RSVP'd are going to get the free giveaway that we will have available there. And it's cool. It's really cool. Okay, so Mike, why don't you show the wonderful shirts, and I will give you an update on shirt. So we have decided, because a lot of people had asked if they could have a sweatshirt rather than a t-shirt. So yes, what we're going to do is order 50 t-shirts and 50 sweatshirts, and they look like that on the front.
Nice.
And then on the back, it has the Fenn quote.
Yeah.
So, okay. So
That's
right now,
nice.
yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty cool.
That is actually a Fenn searcher. I don't know if we've announced who it was, but a Fenn searcher has designed that. She's an artist.
Beth, Genetic Blend. You guys know her as Genetic Blend. She is the winner of the contest. This is her design. So, pretty awesome, right?
I was thinking poker chips with the omega and the F, the FF
right.
and the double omega flip side on the poker chips. I love that. It's nicer than I thought I saw the first time you showed it. It was too far away.
Yeah. So it will be a black hoodie and a black short sleeve t-shirt.
Just like this. Now, I had this made at the mall just because I wanted to see what it would look like. We're actually going to order these shirts when we know how many people would like to buy them. And again, they are for sale. We were going to give the t-shirt for free to the poker tournament people, but we thought of something else. So there's something else that will be given at the poker tournament. These t-shirts will be for sale for everybody.
Yeah, I'm in. I want one.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going to set up a separate email because we told everybody to email Mike or I, and we've gotten a bunch of emails. So know that once we get 100 gone, then we'll either figure out if we should order more or if we should just stop. And there's some other things going on.
Because somebody just asked after the poker tournament, can they still buy a shirt? So what you should do, William, is email kpro at kpro3@aol.com. Tell her what size shirt you're interested in, right? And then we would have an idea of how many to order if you're saying,
remember we talked about a separate email, and then we were
So we are going to set up a separate email for the t-shirts. It's just not set up yet, but we will pass out that info when it is set up. But they can still email you right now.
But here's the price. Yeah, email me now, sure. kpro3@aol.com. And so if you order now or you pre-order, we'll make sure to get the sizes you need.
Yeah.
So here is the pricing, and we really like the idea because it's working well for the maps. Just to cover, like, it doesn't matter which part of the country you're in.
Inside the U.S.
Standard.
Inside the U.S.
Inside the 48 states.
Right. Continental U.S.
Yeah, and we will deal with insurance, we will deal with fees, we'll deal with all that stuff. So there's going to be some standard pricing. So here's the standard pricing. The standard pricing for the hoodie is $50. The t-shirt is $35. If you're at the tournament and you tell us you're at the tournament, we'll discount that to $30 and $45. So a $5 discount.
50 and 35. Do I have that right? 50 and 35.
50 and 35.
That's shipping and handling included. So we will ship that to you in the mail. But if you're going to be at the poker tournament, we're going to give it to you in person on January 26th, and then you get the $5 off if you do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll bring a few extra. So this is where I'm going to appreciate Mike a lot by the end of this, because I am going to be dealing with the individual orders because Mike is still dealing with maps. I'm going to be doing t-shirts, and I'm going to be doing the boxing, all that stuff he does. It'll be a little bit easier because I don't have 700 maps to leaf through. I just have to go,
right. You got to find a size. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, and I am recruiting my daughter to help me, and she's all excited as well. So it includes shipping, handling, insurance, fees, etc. There's only going to be 50 of each one. I'm now on vacation for a little bit, so I am putting together a little flyer. There's going to be an email, so then we'll start promoting this. So
we'll get the word out.
And we'll do a video like we did with the maps of and I'm going to be putting together a flyer. So I wanted to go over just briefly what's happening at the World Series of Fenn. So that Friday night, if anybody is around, we are going to be a part of the 5 o'clock poker tournament, just that Bally's is doing, that they do all the time. So if you want to see how a poker tournament works,
you can watch, you can play. It's the exact same tournament that we're going to have Saturday night. They do these 5 times a day. So me and K-Pro, at least the game plan right now is to go play in the 5 p.m. on Friday night. So anybody is welcome to join with us. If you're in town, and come play, and you'll see how the tournament works.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then afterwards, so if you're in the tournament and you get knocked out right away, you might want to go to dinner earlier or later, I'm going to find a place. I'm going to do this over the next 2 days, talk to Mike, and we will have a place that everybody can like meet up in when they are. I mean, some people maybe not want to do, but it'll probably be 6:37ish that we'll all head over to some sort of dinner. And then that Saturday, if you are going, we are going to do an escape room. There's some people that are interested in that. If it's not your thing, you don't have to do it, but we're going to
Never
go.
tried it.
They're fun.
Sounds fun.
They're a lot of
They're
fun.
really cool.
Yeah.
So, and there's one opening in Denver that's actually Forrest Fenn themed. So they do different themes. I will tell you, it's not going to be a scary theme, Mike. It's not going to be a scary theme.
So
Mike.
we were thinking of the Escapology is the name of the place on Maryland, I believe it is. And they have different rooms, and we'll go and we'll get the info in January when we're a little bit closer to the tournament. But I'm excited. I'd like to go do it. I've never been to that place before, so yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah. So then there's going to be a training session for a couple of people have said, I really don't know how to do this. So Mike has volunteered. We'll meet down in the Bally's poker room and just talk through how it works and that sort of thing. So Mike's going to be kind of the guru to give everybody how to play poker if you don't know how to play poker. And maybe we'll make sure to bring some chips and some cards.
I do have a chip set we could use. Yep.
Yes.
I don't know how the casino would like that, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
they'll love us. And then 7:00 is the tournament. There is probably there's going to be some after hour stuff, but everybody differs so much. We're just going to leave that informal and see where the night goes. What the heck does that mean?
What?
Okay. So Paul Ammons, 923 912.
Oh, we got a code. Hey, it's a code. You got to figure that out. So Copper Dan said there is a Forrest Fenn map that's on eBay right now, and I'm looking at it. It ends in 1 hour and 34 minutes. It's the Pueblo Bonito map, and it's only at $26. So if anybody wants a map, that's one way you can get it.
Do you get the copy of the certificate?
The certificate is in the picture, so yes, looks like I don't know about the Forrest Fenn story, but I see the certificate there.
Okay. And some people have asked us, where are we at with maps? So I'm going to hand it over to Mike. Oh, well, any other questions about World Series of Fenn? So we'll have shirts with us. I'm only going to bring a few extra. So definitely, if you're going to the World Series of Fenn, tell me what size, because I'll definitely bring those sizes. I'll bring a few extra in case somebody wants to order them on the spot. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait. So wait until I get back home.
And what we'll probably do is people will have a chance to pay beforehand to the PayPal account, or people could just pay in cash at the poker tournament. Is that right? We'll do it both ways?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay. All right. That'll work. So yeah, on the maps, fenmaps@gmail.com is if you're interested in a map. We've sold about 120. I have emailed everybody back, and unfortunately what's happened is I've taken so long to get back to some people, they're not emailing me back. So I don't know if they forgot about it or they just figured, forget it. They don't want to order it anymore. That's fine. But it took me a long time to get caught up. I mean, like 10, 12 days. So I am caught up. Everybody that has initially emailed me should have an email back already. I will. There's a couple that came in yesterday and the day before, and I'll get to those tonight. But mostly I'm caught up. So if anybody, there is an updated list on Hint of Riches, and then in Cowlazars Grand Adventure on Facebook. And there's still plenty of the silver Forrest Fenn coin. Oh, and then there's go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say a clarification about the silver Forrest Fenn coin. So we had somebody email me and say, hey, you said the coin was silver. Yes, it's silver in color. This is not real silver, guys. It's not a precious metal silver. When I say silver Forrest Fenn coin, it's silver in color, okay? So for every 2 maps you order, you will get one of these coins. No sequence number. But it's actually, it's like a zinc alloy, and it's actually nickel plated. But I just want to make, I may have said in the past it's silver plated. It's nickel plated, guys. It just looks silver. Like this was the copper coin, right? This one. And then this is now the silver coin, but it's not real silver. If we ever get to the point where we want to make a real silver coin, we'll let you know at that time. But we sure won't be giving them away for free, I don't think. So it's not real silver. It's nickel plated. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that.
Yeah. So, and then some people were asking about eBay. Are we going to do any more auctions?
I'm sure we will. I really haven't thought about it, but we could sit down and figure out what maps, because I have a couple maps where there's only one left, and that's what we had talked about putting on eBay when there's only one left of a particular area. So yeah, let me talk to K-Pro, and maybe tomorrow I'll put those up on eBay or something.
Okay, and then I wanted to jump back to I had a Jingle Bell Rock person emailed me from last show and said, I want to go to the poker tournament, but is it only for Fenn people? It's only for treasure hunters. So yes, come along and you'll hear all about Forrest Fenn and all of our 7%, like all of our code, BT, boots on the ground, those kind of things. So yes, I told them yes. So I think all treasure hunting
everybody's invited.
Yeah. And if you are going to have someone with you that you want in the tournament, just tell me like 4-2 or 4-3 or whatever it is. So some people have been asking me that, like, I'm bringing my spouse, but they're not really a treasure hunter. Are they allowed to be in the tournament? Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if like one of them won and they're like, I don't care about this coin here. And they just hand it back to me.
Deals can be made. You never know.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, that's so sweatshirts, t-shirts, World Series of Fenn. We've gone over the couple of things, and and if anybody doesn't know, we'll give you guys a super secret set of information. Did you see the scrapbook out today?
Oh, right.
Forrest Fenn put out a scrapbook today. I will tell you that a lot of people might not know Nalika's name. But she was the one that bought the gypsy drawing at the Jamie event.
Silent auction. Yeah. She's the one who purchased it, had the highest bid.
Yeah. So some people are saying that name is so unique, it must be a clue. No, that's her name.
Forrest made it up. Yeah, it's a real person. We've met her. Yeah. Is it Nalika or Nelika? I can't remember how you pronounce
Nalika,
it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I spent some time with her. She's fabulous. Her and her husband are great. And they actually were, you guys spent some time with them too. So they were wonderful. And
if you watch the live drawing on YouTube of the Jamie Jordan drawing, Nalika, she gets up there and gets the illustration from Cynthia. So it is a real person, and you can actually see who that is on YouTube.
So don't tell anybody else, though, because they're going right down a rabbit hole, and they're spending hours doing, like,
anagram that name, see what you come up with.
Anagram, all of that. So we all know, she's an actual person spelled the exact same way. So I do not believe that is a clue. Well,
there is a new scrapbook out. Get over there and check it out.
No, get over to Thor, and it links right over to Ed's on Gal's site. So I think it's 196.
I don't know what number it is. Yeah.
So you think there's something to the poem that she wrote? I noticed a little.
I don't know. I haven't really read it to really try to dissect it. I mean, I glanced at it, so I don't know.
Could be. When it's something like high and low and.
I think that is genuinely hers. I don't know, but.
Of course it's her, but why would he? Is he just kissing up, or do you think there's something?
Why did he post it?
I know that she got her and her husband because they bought for like, what was it, $8,100, that illustration.
Yeah, the illustration.
They spent an entire day with or majority of the day with Forrest. I know she's a huge collector of Sloan paintings, and so she's had several more come in since she was in Santa Fe. So I know she spent a lot of time with him, and it's the anniversary of him being shot down. And so I think that's genuinely hers. I can ask her.
Of course it's her poem. I'm just wondering if any of it's relative to the game, kind of a hint, so to speak.
Okay.
In
so
her opinion, maybe.
Is it Nalika?
Or Nelika? Yeah, I don't know how you're going to tell us that, but
Copper Dan. Is it Nalika? Don't listen to me. Is it Nalika? Nalika. Okay, I have forgotten which way it is. Luli Bell. What is Thor? Thor is a wonderful forum that discusses different treasure hunts, but mostly Forrest Fenn. It is hintforum.hintofriches.com.
It's a website. For the Forrest Fenn chase. Yeah.
Yeah, so I happen to own it, so that's why I was laughing. Like, what do you mean you don't know? So that's what it is. Does anybody else have any questions? We're right at the 1 hour mark, which is where we like to be when we sign off. So Monday is Christmas Eve. Mike and I have decided we're not going to have a show. Christmas
no
Eve.
Show.
We want everybody to hit that little bell. We may go on live outside
next week
of the normal
sometime.
times.
Thursday next week. We don't have a regularly scheduled program. We may go live. We'll see. Because it's it's between Christmas and New Year's. We're going to try and play it by ear. But you never know. Maybe we'll have info on the T-shirts or that the email or something. But, so.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Thanks, Decall. We hope you're going to the tournament, right? We'll see you there.
Yeah, the tournament and Thursday nights.
Cool.
Nelica.
Okay.
Nelica. Thank you, Copperdown. Nelica is what
It is
I'll say
Nelica.
it was a fuzzy night. I don't remember exactly. She was like soul sister is what we were calling each other that night. So I didn't even call her by name. She was really
and maybe Nelica will even show up at the poker tournament. You never know. The one next month. We'll see.
You never know.
You never
There's
know who
lots of
might
people,
show
and
up because
there's lots of
everybody's
people-
invited. So
Yes, everybody's invited, and there's lots of people in the chat room. I have to, because some people have said, well, a couple things. One, you don't have to give me your real name. I have handles of who are getting
Right.
the items. You will potentially have to show your ID, and if you win, you have to sign something with your full name. We will tell the poker group. We kind of have a weird group. We don't like to tell each other the names and stuff, but you will have to tell them. You don't have to tell me your actual name. Just say, you know, Fenn treasure hunting person is gonna get, you know, that sort of
and
thing.
the other thing is some people maybe they want to go but they don't want to play in the poker tournament. You can stand and watch. They have an outside rail and you can watch the whole tournament if you want. If you don't want to play but you want to watch, you can do that.
Yeah, and be at the different events and that sort of thing.
Yeah, show up and say hi to everybody.
I've also been told that they don't want others to know that they're there, because et cetera. And I know some of the names of people that they don't want their names out, and that's fine. We don't need.
Yeah.
I won't tell everybody. You guys can tell if you're going to be at the tournament.
We're not putting out a list.
We're not going to put out a list. So that's, and,
Right.
you know, and so just to let you know, yes, I am aware that people don't want their name or whatever. But we have, I would say, out of the 26, I would say 20 of them are flying in from out of the area. So we have about 6, 7, 8 local, somewhere around there. So most of the people are flying in. So that's why they wanted that information. I'll get that flyer together. So they needed to know when to actually fly in, what was going to be happening, etc. Is there any luck in playing poker?
There's a lot of luck. Yeah, there's strategy and skill, but there's luck too. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I think maybe on Thursday or one of these following shows, I'll show a picture of me in a tournament.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes there's not. So anyway, that's everything that I have. But at Room, do you have any other last second questions? Decall, your story was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you found it this year. So yeah, I know you didn't get the money, but you still found it. So congrats.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, a $1,000 gun, though. I mean, holy crap!
That's awesome.
Yeah,
too.
that was nice. So
yeah,
he seemed like a pretty genuine guy. When he came up to hug you before picking it up, I would have picked it up and hugged you. Like
it was so intense. I mean, because we were really nervous about the radio station and getting in trouble. It was a great time. Oh my gosh! You guys can catch that. I know you're probably sick of it by now, but jinglebellrock.info if you want to see any of the videos or clues or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go watch the videos live as it happened. He recorded it. It's on the website.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Jinglebellrock.info. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. And I'm sure we'll be on sometime next week. We just don't know when. So make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications. So we at least got to come on and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Right, Christy?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Maybe we could do a recap, 2018, year-end recap for the search or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.